If you're running Facebook ads, there are three things that you should really try to avoid doing if you want to improve your results and if you really want consistent results. The first thing is avoid turning off or changing the ad within the first few days of you actually running the ad itself. This is a really common mistake that I see people make, and they'll start running an ad, they'll see some stats start to come in, they'll start looking at the link click costs and the click-through rates and all that kind of good stuff, the CPMs, they'll see a high cost or they'll see something that they're not happy with, and they'll assume that that ad is just not worth it anymore, and they'll turn it off. A lot of the times, Facebook's algorithm and a lot of the paid advertising platforms' algorithms need a few days to actually launch the ad, have it start delivering, have it start to get in front of people, and after that point, once it starts to get the data, then it starts to perform well. The only caveat I would say to this is if you are looking at these metrics, like cost per link click-through rate, CPMs, and if they are an outrageous number and they just don't show any sign of coming backward, then it's totally fine to maybe trim off and leave it for another day or two. And if it's still kind of showing that consistent downturn after the second day, or even into the second day after the first day, then it makes sense to turn off. But most of the time, you want to leave these ads on for at least 3 days, get the right data that you need, and then make a decision. The second thing that you really want to avoid is increasing or decreasing the budget more than 10 to 15% per day. So I've got this ad campaign here. I launched this one, when did I launch this? On the 9th of August. And this is for a call booking campaign. So it's really only been a full 3 days as of Monday, maybe even a little bit more. Maybe into today has been a true full 3 days. So overall, things are going well. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. And I want to start to bump it up. I'd recommend not bumping this one up or any kind of a winner up more than 15 to 20%, unless you do it a very specific way, which I can talk about in another video, where you're kind of riding the wave of good performance. So like, let's say this one was crushing it, I'd double the spend, but at the end of the day, I'd lower it back down if I was riding that wave. But in most cases, if it's working well and I'm not willing to spend that much money, only make sure you're increasing the budget by 10 to 15%, no more in most cases, every day, as long as the performance is holding. If you do that, you'll see more consistency. You can sometimes go outside of that limit, but in some cases, it's really just smarter to only increase it by that time frame, by that percentage. The last thing is not testing different variables in your ads and not testing different variables in your ads consistently. It's really easy to get complacent, and if an ad is working, just leave it alone. But that's probably one of the worst things that you can do. Just because it's working and this is working or the creative is working well doesn't mean that you should leave it alone and just wait for it to die. Duplicate it, make some new variations of it, even if it's something as simple as like changing the background color here in this ad or changing the headline. That's totally fine. Simple changes can make really, really big results. So after you make those simple changes and you test them, you can find that the simplest change can really make a really, really big difference. Those are some of the big things that I'd recommend looking out for inside of your ad account. Make sure you're consistently checking not just the main point of interest that you're targeting for, so a lead, a schedule, a purchase. Make sure you're also looking at these metrics over here, the link click cost, link click through rate, because these metrics can tell a story around things that maybe you're not getting enough data of when it comes to the main objective. Like click through rate can tell you how well your creative is doing. Link click-through rate can tell you how well you're actually grabbing attention, but then getting them to click off. Cost per link click is going to give you a good overall impression of how well your ad is doing as well. So it's important to track these metrics, see how well they're doing, see where you can improve them, and then make those changes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to join the Predictable Profits Mastermind. It's a totally free school group where there's tons of free content, access to resources, free courses, so you can actually improve your paid ads and get the results that you want. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.